changed in many ways, from its layout to its staff, but I'm here to talk about the animal aspect of life. In 1911, a man named John James Boyd started a zoo in Onehunga. The zoo was made up of 6 lions, 1 tiger, 1 panther, a hyena, 2 dogs, an emu, some vultures, and a troop of monkeys. That is about 20 animals in all. After a few months, the residents of Onehunga began complaining about the noise, smell, and crowds of the zoo, and many safety concerns were raised in the following years. The zoo was shut down in 1922. Many of the animals were sold privately, and the Auckland City Council bought the remaining lot. On the 16th of June 1922, the Auckland Zoo opened in Western Springs. Originally, many of the animals were kept in pits or cages. The original lion pit now houses Oz the tiger. This pit used to be bare and very rocky with little tree cover. Nowadays, as you can see, the pit has grass, trees, and a pond. Each enclosure is made especially to act as the animal's natural habitat. One of the only cage enclosures left belongs to Janie, the last Tea Party chimp. Janie still lives in a caged enclosure with a concrete floor, as she was raised by humans and is too old to learn the ways of a chimpanzee society, and this type of cage is all she's ever really known. The chimpanzee tea parties were started on the 25th of November 1956 to entertain visitors. The performing chimps were called Janie, Bobby, Josie, and Minnie. In 1964, the tea parties were deemed inhumane and the zoo stopped them. Janie is now reaching 50 years old. She has been alone since November 2004, when Bobby, her last companion, died of old age. Many animals have been phased out of Auckland Zoo, including polar bears and chimpanzees. In 1923, 2 wild polar bears were caught and brought to the Auckland Zoo, where they were housed in a shallow concrete pit that was designed to look like ice and painted white. 4 more bears arrived in 1925. The pit had a very low fence, but it was raised after one of the bears escaped and was shot in 1927. Over the 72 years Auckland Zoo kept polar bears, at least 2 died or were put down due to a mysterious skin ailment that would not react to treatment. In 1995, when the final bears, Ingrid and Joachim, died, it was decided that the keeping of polar bears was something they couldn't handle and they were phased out of the species plan. Tuaonui is the newest and largest addition to the zoo. Tuaonui exhibits native New Zealand birds, bats and bugs. It is made up of 6 parts: the islands, the wetlands, the night, the forest, the high country and the coast. The islands is a representative of the accidental island sanctuaries that are scattered around the New Zealand coastline. Living in this habitat are some of the most endangered New Zealand natives, including the tuatara, Northland green gecko, Antipodes island parakeet, and many more. The wetlands, home to many unforgettable plants such as flax, manuka, kahikatea, and cabbage trees. Here is also where you will find the paradise shelduck, brown teal, white-faced heron, and a few other native waders, and my personal favourite, the long-finned eel, who, when I visited the zoo to film, I spent about 15 minutes stroking. The night, home to New Zealand's famous icon, the brown kiwi. The moorpork, short-tailed bat, and weta also reside here. The night sky is lit by thousands of glowing stars. The nighttime is when the New Zealand forests really come to life. In this exhibit, you will find the giant cowrie snails and some fish by the names of inga and kakapu. The forest is home to the birds you'll see in your backyard, like the tui, white-eye, and fantail, as well as the rarer birds such as the keraru, kaka, and two kites of kakariki. This open-flight aviary originally opened in 1992 and has had since a few alterations, such as the addition of this main boardwalk. The high country houses our most mischievous bird, the outgoing and naughty kea. This area is also home to the weka. This habitat is designed to represent the iconic South Island high country. Finally, the coast, once known as sea lion and penguin shores, is home to a family of little blue or fairy penguins, 4 sea lions and 2 New Zealand fur seals. The coast represents New Zealand's famous coastal areas. Spread throughout the enclosure are many unique plants that grow between the rocks and on the sand dunes. These exhibits show us how much effect we have on these animals and what we can do to save these rare creatures from extinction. The zoo describes Te Wānui as a celebration of New Zealand that explores the past, showcases the present and focuses on the future, and invites everyone to play a role as guardian for our unique wildlife and wild places. The Auckland Zoo is also part of BNZ's Operation Nest Egg program, which is a program that involves incubating, hatching, rearing and releasing kiwi to safe sanctuaries to help improve the kiwi survival rate in the wild. In 2010, Auckland Zoo reached the milestone of incubating, hatching, rearing and releasing 200 North Island brown kiwi chicks for the program and are continuing their work. The evolution of Auckland Zoo is a long, never-ending process that every New Zealander has watched over however many minutes, hours, days, weeks or years they've spent within the gates. Whether you last visited yesterday or 3 years ago, you are a part of this breathtaking place with the eventful evolution. We Aucklanders have watched, heard, talked about or experienced every up and down of the Auckland Zoo, even if you've never been. This zoo's history just goes to show that a place can disappear for a while when something new happens and then later reveal itself with a new story. This place is here to inspire, captivate and move the future generations to something great. So let your imagination run wild like the animals roaming within these unforgettable gates. Special thanks to Mum for taking me to the zoo to film this and for putting up with me hogging the computer to edit and the camera to film, and for providing your photography to contribute to this film. Jem for coming to the zoo with me so I wouldn't look like a crazy person wandering around alone. Ashley, even though you didn't come with us when I filmed, thank you for letting me use your amazing photos of the animals, especially the one of the 3 meerkats. And finally, thank you to Auckland Zoo for existing and for providing the majority of entertainment of my childhood.